shepherd at its best. Responding to an SOS. We are headed on a mission to save 1100 tons of steel. We are the sea shepherd at its best.
Hello there, welcome to Burning Spears. As usual, I'm Richard. For those of you who usually watch my videos, that is. And today I'm going to be working with something really quite special and looking forward to cooking it. It's going to be a Silverside roast, beef roast. I think the Americans, that's some part of the round. I think that's a bottom round, if I'm not mistaken. But the difference is, today I'm doing veal. Now, veal is a contentious thing. A lot of people don't agree with it. But I think that there is a lot worse things that we do to our livestock and than eat young ones. Really, there's a lot of things that we do that shouldn't really happen to meat and to animals. Bad husbandry, all of that sort of thing. But fortunately, here in the UK, things are a little bit different. Europe as well has got pretty good animal husbandry laws. But the UK sometimes can excel at it. For instance, today, this is a rose veal roast. And I'm going to zoom into it and I can tell you a little bit about it. So I've got this lovely English rose veal roast from my specialist butcher, Paul Simmons, at Simmons Family Butchery in St John's Wood. Honoured to have this piece of meat. Now, good butchers and good producers network well. Like, for instance, I know that this came from Mount Grace Farm in Cold Kirby in Yorkshire. Thank you, Farmer Charles, for giving me this opportunity to work with this beautiful piece of meat. And thank you, Simmons Family Butchers, for, again, finding it, sourcing it, and keeping it aside for me and letting me know about it. So English rose veal is slightly older. This animal would have been about 11 months when it was sent to be prepared for the plate. So 11 months. It's a little bit older than traditional veal. This would have been on with its mother for 9 months and then finished off inside for another 2 months. So the color doesn't look like veal. It looks like beef. So the flavor is going to be better than veal. Veal, I find, sometimes can be a bit bland, and it should be tender. The loss on these sort of things is you don't get the marbling and the fat that comes with age, like myself. So I'm going to prepare this very simply today. I'm not going to mess with it because it's such a wonderful and rare product. I'm just going to get some of the silver skin off underneath it. Remember, Silverside is a tough cut. Silverside, or bottom round, is what I use for my biltong. So it lends itself to roasts, thin slicing, that sort of thing. So as you can see, silver skin is that stuff that you don't really want to cook with. Right, so as you can see, there's still some tendon in there. I'm going to have to leave that, otherwise I'll be butchering this into little pieces. There's a little bit of silver skin, apologies, on the top here, with the limited fat, because it was a little baby. I'm going to leave that on top because, of course, I want to have some meat left to eat, and my butchering skills aren't that amazing. Okay, so very simple today. Wanting to really taste the meat, focus on the meat, this amazing raw material that I've been given. So, as a binder for the salt and pepper, I'm just going to place a little bit of olive oil on. I have been using ghee a lot lately, but I thought I'd go back to my roots. So those of you who have watched some of my videos will probably think that there's a worldwide shortage of black pepper. The way I'm not being liberal like I normally am. Very liberal. Some would say extreme. But with a delicate or more delicate beef flavor like veal, I can't pack so much pepper on there. I want to get the delicateness and the nice nuances of this young animal. So I'm going to treat it delicately. I'm going to cook it delicately, and the rewards should be there. However, salt you can never compromise on. Large, this is your best time to impart flavor. So liberal on the salt, so that saltiness goes through the bite when you eat the meat. And it's only on the outside, right? Fairly thick cut. Again, this is kosher salt. There you have it, ready to go. Okay, so I've got the Kamado Joe, which I'm going to use to cook it today, typically for me. I've got it sitting at 125, 250 Fahrenheit, and I'm going to go indirect because I'm going to look after the product and treat it gently and cook it low and slow for the largest portion of its cook time. I'm going to use my drip pan. I've got a kettle of boiling water. Whilst the Kamado Joe is naturally a nice moist cooking environment, or it has a nice moist cooking environment. Sometimes when you're doing things like turkey breast or something like that, or when I do those, I use a water bath like this. Typically water baths are notoriously used in offset smokers because there's more airflow, and it's not that common to use in a Kamado Joe as far as I know. I'm just closing it down to stop the flare up that I created by talking with the lid open for so long. I'm using the meter probe today, and I'm going to use that to guide me, and I'm going to keep this cooking temperature low for as long as possible. I've got a log of South African thornwood on there as my smoking wood today. Okay, so it hasn't taken long. It's taken about 40 minutes to get to an internal temperature of 48 degrees Celsius. I'm used to cuts of meat taking a long time to get to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it in foil. I'm not going to loose tent it, I'm going to wrap it in foil proper. So I'm going to wrap this in foil and leave it to rest for a long time inside, probably about an hour. So it would be rare then. Then I'm going to finish it off on the fire to bring it up to a medium rare. You'll see that stage in a bit. Okay, so I've done all of the veg prep while this was resting for an hour, a little over an hour. I took this out at 48 degrees centigrade, which should have let it rest to a rare. By doing that, essentially I've par cooked it, and it's lovely and soft and tender still. Now I'm going to put it in a more traditional temperature of 180 degrees centigrade, which is more of a roasting temp where it'll have all its accompaniments, all of its buddies joining it at the same time. Then I'm going to bring that to an internal of 52, 54 and rest again to give me a medium rare. So it's almost time to take out the meat. The vegetables I can leave in for a bit longer while the meat rests. So we're at temperature now for a medium rare. See a bit of the smoke on it. What I'll do is I'll give it a little bit of fire, just to give it a little bit of a kiss on there. Cheers everyone. I hope you're sitting in front of your television with a nice beverage or several beverages of your choice next to you. Filming in a storm. Surprise, surprise, this winter's been storm after storm in the UK. And I've got my gas heater on. It's not that cold, to be honest with you, but cold enough. I took this to 57 degrees to increase by 2 for a mid-rare. I'm just going to give it a bit of color on direct cold. So I'm going to unwrap it. I'm going to take everything out the Kamado Joe. You saw the veggies on in there. Take that all out, get a little bit of color, cut it straight away because it would have rested. On the first rest, there's hardly any juices that came out, which is what I want to achieve, to make sure that there's a lot of moisture inside. We'll see what happens when I take the foil off, but again, that's how I play with it. I'm sure that for the majority of the cook, the meat's it's not tensed up, it's not boiling up because it's getting shocked with a lot of heat. So it won't release a lot of juice. Those juices will stay inside, you know. So let me get the veg out and get the fire up, the temp up, and get that colored. Okay, right, here we go. So I'm going to look for how the grain is running. And unfortunately it's a very odd pattern. That's running that way, and that is running diagonal. So it's a bit difficult to decide how to cut this. It's actually stumped me a little bit. But I'm going to go with a cross section, as always. Hopefully the meat's forgiving enough. That hole is from the Pro, by the way. It's not a vein or anything like that. So don't get put off by that. Maybe a touch over, but it's juicy. Okay, so with my time exposure, my lack of photography skills, etc., etc., the focus might come in and out. It should be alright as soon as I put something on the plate to give it a reference point. So apologies on my amazing camera work here. Okay, so that's looking good. Well, I hope it is as well. Apologies again for the overexposure. But because the veal is such a light flavor, I've gone with a vegetable gravy with a bit of red wine. A little bit of citrus in there, just for some freshness, because the Italians like lemon and veal, so they know what they're doing more than I am. Beautiful light colored, rose colored gravy. Right guys, so, excuse me, my mouth's watering as usual. I think I always say that in every video. I have guests that I haven't seen in for a while, so this is their treat. Want to roll them outside to the studio. They're inside because they're very noisy, irritable creatures. But I hope you enjoyed seeing me cook veal, and I have to eat a slice on camera just to prove. The smoke is very pronounced, more so than usual. I think that's because the veal is so delicately flavored. But when you get into it, it's very pleasant, it's very nice. And it's tender, never going to be fall apart like a fillet or a sirloin or a low and slow smoked piece of meat, pulled beef or pulled pork or whatever. But I would say that is as tender as any ribeye that I've had, certainly any rump. Probably the best beef roast, normally top side, Silverside, top round, bottom round in the US. Probably the best one that I've had, tenderness wise. Flavor, not heaps of beef. I'm not getting a lot of beef, but tasty. The salinity from the seasoning and all that helps. Yeah, altogether great cook. Let me get these guys served. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a safe Christmas. If you're watching this after Christmas, I hope you guys have a safe next Christmas. But cool, thanks a lot for watching, and that's it.
The sea shepherd at its best, responding to an SOS. We are headed on a mission to save 1,100 tons of steel. We are the sea shepherd at its best, riding on the quest of a wave, heading for the crimson shore, responding to an SOS.
Oh yes, and I nearly forgot. That the soundtrack that I will put on this video is from a colleague of mine, Danny Jackson from, it's quite an old band now. It was called Veal or Veal, and the song is called Sea Shepherd, which is a song about the sea shepherd. We all should know about that. And Danny, thank you for allowing me to use this music and this song on. I think this particular track is from the 90s, early 2000s, and yeah, really cool to be able to put that on here. And disclaimer, he's given me allowances for it. And yeah, so Danny, this particular video is dedicated to you. Being English, and at work being my English roast veal that I've cooked today, English roast veal. So I think this one's fitting for you, buddy. So cool. Thanks for the track, mate, and the message was really good. So guys, have a listen, have a look. And Danny Jackson, I know, has got some stuff that he's done independently of Veal. Give it a look. And yeah, thank you very much.